Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, algebra class. So we are moving on to 2.6. So I know you guys don't have 2.6 papers per se. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and start making a notebook. So um, you should have a notebook, something like this, or something equivalent to this. It could be this, or it could be those little composition books, or it could be a notepad like this. A notepad like this, okay? Whatever you're gonna use, make sure you have it all together. Now, if you don't have a notebook or anything, you can actually just use a piece of paper, but just make sure you keep these together, okay? So for this is 2-6 or 2.6, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to set it up on here, how to go ahead and start taking notes on here, okay? So let's do it now. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and take your notebook, and this should be like your first page, and like this, and you already have this line right here. You already have this one, so you're gonna make the top one. Just kind of trace it in like that, or if you have just regular paper, then you can just get it a paper and just put a line here and put a line up there. Okay. Then after that, you're gonna do this. Let me show you. Okay. So this is like your paper. So here's your line, here's that line. Okay, make sure you put your name on top, period 4. Today is the 20th. Okay, and then your lesson is 2.6 ratios and proportions. Okay, some of this might be review, some of this might be new. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. So here's your essential question that you're gonna put. Now your guys' writing might be way better than mine. Okay, I do know that. Some of you have great handwriting, and I envy you. Okay, I'm trying my best. Okay, I actually wrote worse than this years ago, so I'm doing much better. Okay, blame it on computers. Anyways, so essential question: how do I determine if two ratios are equal? How do I determine if two ratios? So this is your essential question. So normally you would highlight this or circle it. I mean, you can do that as well if you want. You can go ahead and take your highlighter, put it over like that. Once you write it down, you can highlight it. Okay, but this is the question we're going to answer after this lesson. Okay, when we're done with today's lesson, we're going to be able to answer this. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and continue. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and define a ratio. Okay, I know you know what it is from last year, so let's go ahead and review it. So a ratio is a comparison of two numbers by division. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers by division. So the way to say it is x to y, which is a colon, okay? Or you can say x over y. Okay, this is the one we're more familiar with. But when you're doing this, you're actually comparing two numbers. Okay, one example could be um, for every one student, for every one teacher, there's 30 students. So 1 to 30. For every one teacher, there's 30 students. So 1 to 30. So it would be 1 to 30. Okay, another example could be 1 to 2. For every one dog, there's two cats. We all know that there's more cats than dogs. But this doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, that's not a statistic that I know, but it's a statistic that I'm thinking is probably true, whether it is or not. But the fact of the matter is, it's a ratio. For every one dog, there's two cats, 1 to 2. Okay. And another example could be 2 to 22. Okay, it could be something like this. There's two referees in soccer for every 22 players. Okay, there could be one that's in the middle and then one on the side. So it's just giving you an example of a ratio. It's a comparison of two numbers. You're comparing 1 and 30. You're comparing 1 and 2. You're comparing 2 and 22. That's all a ratio is. Okay? All right, so now we go on to proportion. What is a proportion? So a proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. This is a T. An equation that states that two ratios are equal. So when you have two of these and you're comparing them to each other, then that's a proportion. And if they are equal, it is a proportion. If they're not equal, then they're just two different numbers that are being compared. So for example, here's an example. Okay. We have an example. 1 to 2 is equal to 2 over 4. This is a proportion. This is a proportion. They are proportional because 1/2 is equal to 2 over 4. And you should be able to see that real quickly, right? This does not take any calculation or anything. You can just do it like that. You should know. You're in 8th grade already. You should know, right? Now, with higher, more complicated numbers, I'm going to show you how to actually determine if these are equal or not. I'll give you another example. 1/3 is equal to 2/6. Okay, we know they're equal. These are much easier, right? They're real simple. Okay, there's really no further explanation with this, but we are going to get into some more difficult numbers to determine if they are equal or not. If you put this in a calculator and this in a calculator, they're going to be the same. If you put this in the calculator and this in the calculator, they're going to be the same, right? This is going to be 0.3333. This is going to be 0.3333. Okay, this is going to be 0.5. This is going to be 0.5. We know they're equal. Okay, we can see that. And when they are equal, they are called a proportion. Okay, so let's go on to the next. All right, so far this is what we have right now. Okay, now once again, if you want to highlight some of this stuff, you could. Like if you want to highlight this, if you want to highlight this, if you want to highlight this one, just for your sake so that you can see what the definitions are. Okay, you can go ahead and do that. Now what I want you to do now is I want you to take a picture of this and submit it on the next slide. Okay, and then we're going to continue with the notes right here. Now, if you don't have enough room like me, then you can go on the back, continue on the back with this. If not, you can continue, keep writing on this when you get to the next video. But for now, take a picture of this and submit it on the next slide. And let's go on to the next video.